Welcome to this course on NumPy library. We're just going to get into a broad overview of NumPy. We're not going to do a deep dive. We're going to look at some of the data forms and some of the mathematical functions, some of the aggregation functions and data alignment and manipulation. We want to understand, though, that a deep understanding of NumPy is not really necessary when we're using these higher level semantic tools like pandas. Pandas and tools like it use NumPy under the hood, and they abstract us from some of the lower level mathematics that happens in NumPy. And this is not going to be a mathematics course, so we're going to just give a cursory look at some of the linear algebra math that's available to us in NumPy. But what we do want to do is just mention Wes McKinney again, because his book Python for Data Analysis was sort of a basis for the lesson trajectory here, a loose basis. Although we have taken many of the examples, modified them, simplified them, we've omitted some of them just simply because it encompasses more understanding of the math than we're going to require for a beginner's course. We don't really need a deep knowledge to operate well in data analysis. But we do want to definitely give attribution to Wes McKinney and this book, Python for Data Analysis, and really recommend that for serious students on the topics. So some of the things we're going to cover is just fast vectorizing operations. NumPy is very fast compared to Python. There's common algorithms like sorting and set operations like unique. We're going to talk about describing, summarizing, aggregating data, merging and joining. Some of the conditional logics with expressions in NumPy that don't need the loops that we use for conditionals in Python itself. And then maybe the difference between group-wise manipulation and element-wise manipulation, and how NumPy makes that element-wise manipulation much easier. Now, we're using Jupyter notebooks again, and if you're not familiar with Jupyter, I'd refer you back to our Python course. I think it's lesson 2 in our Python course, where we show you how to set up a Jupyter notebook, but we'll run through it again briefly here. So what we're doing is we have this folder that we've set up, py_proj, on our desktop. You can set up your project folder anywhere you want. So we want to change directory into that using this cd command. And we have to go to our desktop first, because we always start up our command prompt in the user folder. And then / into pyproj, py_proj. And if I run this and then hit the dir command, directory, it shows us what's in here. And we have in here this virtual environment, venv. And the way we create that, once we've installed Python, we can create a virtual environment. So the command for that is python -m venv. That's the command to start it. And now you just have to name it what you'd like to name it. We named ours pyvenv. And by convention, we usually put this venv on whatever environment we create, just so that we can easily identify it. And if I run this, like let's say this was an empty folder and I ran it, it would automatically create this folder, pyvenv folder. And I'm not going to run it because we already have this file in here, but if I was to run that, it would create that. And then the next thing we want to do is get into that. So to get into that, we name it pyvenv. That's what we named our virtual environment. We need a \, and then we go into the scripts folder, pts, and that's here. If I go back here and get into this pyvenv, you'll see there's a scripts folder in here. So that's what we're doing. We're getting into that scripts folder. And inside the scripts folder, there's activate. There's an activate.bat file. So if I / again and call that file, I think I did a B instead of a V, then now we can see that we are inside pyvenv. And everything we install in here, NumPy, pandas, matplotlib, everything, we only want to install it when we have our virtual environment open, because that means it'll only install in here. It will only be available in here. So it's like a isolated environment for all of our operations. To install Jupyter, because we've installed Python, we also have access to the pip, which is the Python installation package, and we can pip install. we can pip install notebook. And that's going to install the Jupyter notebook for us. If you look here, I already have installed it. See where it says IPYNB checkpoints? This is our IPython notebook. It's been installed. So I'm not going to do this, but this is the command you'll need to install it using the pip install. And once you have that installed, the last thing we need to do here, let me back out of this, is run it. And to run Jupyter Notebook is just Jupyter Notebook. And hit enter, and it should run for us. And now we're ready to start the course.